So we've never as many as the stamp set. Let's see what we can do with that. Hey guys, it's Maymay, and tonight we're going to be putting together an as many as, but we're going to focus on the stamp set as well. So I'm going to be using one sheet of paper from the White Christmas pack and this stamp set to make 14 different cards. Let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is you want to pick a piece of cardstock from the pack. Now I chose this plaid because I think it's super cute, and it doesn't matter what orientation it lays on the card, it will work every way it lays out. The back of it looks like this. This would also work, but anyone that has kind of a generic orientation will work great. The first thing I'm going to do is cut off the little decorator strip here, or the designer strip, and remember, put your paper at 12 inches into your trimmer before you cut it so you get every single bit of your paper. Because sometimes when we cut these off, they can be a little bit generous and we can lose a little bit of the paper we want. So, got that gone. Now what we want to do is we want to cut this into two 5-inch panels. So I'm going to cut here at 5 inches. And see how good it is to have a piece of cardstock that it doesn't matter which way it goes. Y'all know orientation is my nemesis anyway, and so this makes it work out perfect. All right, so two 5-inch panels here. Then this piece we have left over, I want to cut it down to 5 inches twice as well. So I'm going to cut here, and I'm going to set that aside. We're going to talk about that in a minute. It's a little bit different, but I'll show you that it will still work. And then here. So this piece we won't use in this, but that's okay. Add it to your Christmas paper leftovers, and hopefully we'll have a video for using your leftovers soon. All right, now grab these guys. You might not want to stack these. If you're not confident with your trimmer, you may want to just do them one piece at a time, because we're going to be cutting an 1/8, and I know sometimes that's a struggle. For me too sometimes, but today I'm going to stack them up. And we want to cut these at 1 7/8. So as many as we can get from these at 1 7/8. All right, another piece that will go into our leftover pile, so we'll put that aside, and this is what you now have. So you have 12 pieces that are 5 by 1 7/8. These guys are not quite 1 7/8. Let me show you. They're like an 1/8 different. Now you can trim that off of these if you want to, but it's not going to matter in the finished product. You just have to make sure you have at least 1 7/8. So we're going to make 14 cards with these pieces. Now you're going to need 14 other pieces. You're going to need a white matte or a solid coordinating color for your paper that is 3 by 5. You will need a strip that is 1 1/4 by 5, and you'll need 14 of those as well. And then you're going to need this mat, which is 4 by 5 1/4. Makes sense? That's your first mat on your card, right? So I've got these cut and ready to go, and we'll have these dimensions and measurements for you on the blog. And we want to work on these guys. So I want to take one of these out of here. Now this is where you're going to have to do a little fancy footwork around your craft room. I need you to find something curved. Now, this will work with a die. If you have a die that is big enough to do a little curve here, you can do that, no problem. But I want to make this where everybody can do it. So we found this. Actually, Shannon went around the room and found the perfect curve right here. And I'm going to show you how we're going to mark it. Now, you may have to edit this in your home based on what you use for your curve, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to mark 1 inch up on two sides. I'm going to go here and mark 1, and then I'm going to go here and mark 1. You see, I'm using my cutting mat to do that, okay? So 1 inch in, and then I'm going to take this and I'm going to line it up on that 1 inch mark on either side, and my curve will be this portion here. Now, I'm spending a little time on this one, but I only have to do this once. This will become our template, right? So I'm going to then pencil mark this in. And look how easy that is. Now, that is the piece we're going to use. Now, could you just sketch this? Yes. If you want to sketch a curve, let me show you. I'll flip this one over. The best way to sketch a curve, you want to hold your piece centered, right? And you want to plant your wrist. Do you see this motion I've got? If you plant your wrist and you draw a curve this way, you might go ahead and mark your 1 inch so you can go to it, and then mark your 1 inch this way. Do you see how I'm kind of pivoted here? That's the best way to draw a curve. So if you want to do it just by that, go ahead, because whatever you establish here will be your template for the rest of them. All right, let's cut this out. I'm going to use my scissors for that. Now, I will be erasing the pencil mark here, but because I'm going to use it to trace onto my other ones, I'll wait and erase it later. All right, now we'll just line these guys up. We'll trace that pencil mark, cut them all out, and we'll start on the next part of the process. Now your next step, the little red strips that we did, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to cut them with that same curve. So what I'm going to do is just place this to where both sides meet up on the corners, okay, like that. And then here, I have plenty of room to trace my curve. I want to show you what this is for so it'll make sense, but I'm going to trace my little curve like this. And then I'm just going to cut around that, and I'll show you what this piece is going to be used for. So this piece we're going to glue to this edge, and we're going to slide it out a little bit so we end up with that pretty red border there. So all you do when you cut it is make sure you leave yourself enough room right there to glue it down, and we have plenty here, okay? And I'm just going to do that with all of them, and you can go ahead and glue this down if you want. I wouldn't yet because we're going to stamp, so I'd wait on that, but go ahead and get all 14 of these guys cut to this. While I'm doing that, I want to tell you something. As I was cutting a while ago, I know a lot of you guys don't like to use your scissors this much. So if you don't have a die, you can always set yourself up like a cut file on your electronic cutting machine. This would be easy to do. Or you could do something like on your scan and cut if you wanted to cut one and then have it cut it, whatever. But just think outside the box. If you're not big on the scissor situation, use some other tool you have at your disposal and make that happen. You guys are plenty crafty enough to come up with it, I'm sure. All right, you guys, so now we're going to go to the stamp set, and we're going to make use of one of the cute little stamps. It's the one that is the string of lights. I think this is adorable. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to curve it around this edge, but let me show you how I'm going to do it. I'm going to use this piece as my guide. Ignore this at the top. We're going to stamp that in a minute. I just already have it set up there, so we're just going to leave that there for now. So what I want to do here is mark my boundaries and where my point is, where that little white paper is. So I'm just going to use a Post-it note for that. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to line up this small Post-it note on the outside of the Misty where my curve comes down and right to where I want my stamp to stop. You'll see that in a minute. It'll make sense in a second. But this is giving me my boundaries. It's giving me height and width. Okay, so now what I'll do, you know what else? Let's mark one more spot just because when we open this up, we'll wish we had. Let's mark the highest point right there. So now we know where we want our stamp to live. So now let's open this up and lay it to the side. And this may be more work than is necessary, but this is just how it works in my brain, you guys. All right, so what I'm going to do is put my stamp at the top. Let's lay it down correctly. Put it at the top. And I know I don't want to go any higher than that, right? And I actually want to come down a little bit because I want a little bit of a white border. And let me get that kind of centered. Now this is going to hang over. This stamp is bigger than our piece. Now I'm going to work my way into the curve like so, making sure I'm underneath that spot on the side. So I'm just working that curve in. And so pay attention, kind of look at it. Let's lay a piece underneath it and see what it looks like. Just to kind of give ourselves an idea here. We'll just line that up like so. I feel like, and this is an easy way to do it too. Maybe see, there's always an easier way, right? Maybe I should have just done this. But I feel like this side is a little bit too quick of a curve. So I'm going to shallow that up a bit. And that's going to be cute, right? I think it will be. And the good thing is it's a string of lights, so if it's not perfect, it's not the end of the world. You do still need these because without it, you won't really know, especially this top one, you won't really know if you just put this underneath where to stop it, if that makes sense down here. Okay, now you're done with these guys. You can put those aside, use them for something else, and we can stamp. I'll tell you what I'm going to do just to be safe here because I didn't even think about this when I lifted it up. I'm going to take my Post-it note and mark where I need to place my piece every time. So place my paper, and then I can put my magnet on it. So that way, if I need to stamp twice, I can, but I can have it lined up right there where my paper is. And this seems very fussy, but trust me, it's very forgiving. All right, let's ink it up and send it over. So I'm inking this up using Memento Tuxedo Black, and that's because I think I'm going to put a little color in there using some alcohol markers. So I'm going to use a dye ink for that. So here we go. Let's see what we get. Super cute, right? I love that. I think I am going to ink that twice just to make it nice and dark. And that's what you'll do. You're going to run through and do your little lights, your little strand of lights on every one of the curved pieces. And the cool thing is, I'll show you this. For your next piece, you're just going to place it right where this Post-it note is. Okay. Add your magnet. And ink up and stamp, and it should work out. Now it won't be perfect because we cut these by hand. There'll be a little bit of different here and there, but we're not worried about that. Cute. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so I've got all of those stamped, and this is my plaid. I went to my Nuvo markers and found two that I thought were the right green and red, and I feel like these are going to be good. And now I'm just going to color every other light red and green. I think that'd be cute to add a little bit of color. And so here we go. Okay, now, again, making the most of our stamp set, we're going to stamp different sentiments on every one of these guys. So for this one, I'm going to do Merry Everything, and on the inside, it's going to say Happy Always. But what we're going to do, Shannon and I are going to work together to do this and get all the stamping done, and we'll show you all the sentiments when we're done. And that way, if you have this stamp set, you'll be able to see those. Plus, on our website, we already have for you samples that you can look at on the product page to help you see how all the words go together on the stamp set. Look how pretty this is. Now, let's go ahead and assemble this one, and then I'm going to assemble all the others off camera, and we'll come back together and see how they turned out. So we're going to take this guy with one of our little pieces of red that we prepped earlier, and I'm just going to add a little glue to the edge here at the bottom. So what I'm going to do is just run some glue right here. Now you could pop this up if you want to. I'm not going to pop this portion up. I'll show you what I will pop up in a minute with some foam. And then we're just going to place this, and I will turn it over so I can see it. Isn't that cute? And you can make that as thin or as wide as you want. That feels pretty good to me. Super cute. All right. Now we're going to go to our big mat, our big red mat here, and get our plaid. So what you want to do with your plaid is you want to place it where it has the same matte edge on 3 sides. So we're placing here, here, and here. Not quite where I need to be. We're going to place it like that. Then I'm going to pop this guy up on foam, and he will overlap, and he will have the same distance around 3 sides. Look how cute this card's going to be. I love this. So this gets glued directly down. And now this guy is going to get mounted where it has that same matte edge, top, bottom, and side. Got it a little crooked. Let me straighten that up. There we go. And that gets glued to our card base. Now let me show you. So Shannon is stamping the insides as I do the front, and this one was supposed to say Merry Everything on the front. So when you open it up, it says Happy Always. So this guy gets glued directly to the front of this card. I know sometimes y'all like to see how we kind of organize it. What I did was this morning, before I started filming the video, I sat down and I decided what I wanted on the front and what I wanted on the inside. And I just made a list where I had 14 different setups, inside and outside. And then when Shannon came in, she is now working on stamping all the insides, and I'm doing the outsides. So that is card number 1. Let's see what we get when we do all the other 13 cards. So this card needs one more thing. You all know I cannot finish without a little bit of a white highlight, and these lights are begging for it. So I want you to see how they look without, and then watch how much this changes. So I'm using the new Altenew white pen. This is the must-have gel white pen from Altenew, and I'm just gonna put a little highlight mark. That's just amazing how it just makes these lights come to life. Now you could glossy accent these. You could glitter paint them, you know, cover with glitter. This is probably enough. I think this is super cute, especially if you need to send them out in a hurry. Look at the difference. It just makes them feel like they're lit. Isn't that cute? All right, let me show you what we finished with. So we have Merry Everything, Happy Always. We have, I'll just kind of line them up here. We have May Your Season Be Merry and Bright. All from this stamp set, you guys. We only use the one stamp set. This one is Holiday Greetings, Wishing You Everything Magical. I absolutely love this set. May your fa-la-la be merry and bright. Isn't that cute? Joyful Greetings and Merry Christmas inside. And then Happy fa-la-la Season, Wishing You a Magical Holiday. Christmas Greetings, 'Tis the Season. Isn't that cute? All right, how about this one? It says, Season's Greetings, Wishing You Joyful Holidays. May your holiday be merry and bright. And then, have a Merry Christmas filled with joy. Fa-la-la, la-la-la-la. That one was cute. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. And then, 'Tis the Season, Wishing You a Magical Season. And our 14th card, may your holiday be filled with joy. Merry Christmas. I think that's super cute. We were able to get 14 cards with different sentiments using one piece of designer paper and one stamp set. I love that so much. Okay, guys, I got to tell you, out of all the As Many Ads I've made so far, and this is card number 6, because I think the video that went up first, which would have been on Saturday night, was 5 As Many As cards. This one is my favorite. It's a little more work. It's a little time consuming, but I think the payoff is really, really cute, and you don't need many supplies. Pretty much one piece of designer cardstock, a great stamp set that'll do all of this work for you, and then just your bases and a little coordinating piece. So I love how this one turned out. Now here's the deal. If you make it, I want to see it. So make sure you share it with us over on our customer gallery or at our Facebook group called Maymay Made It, and so did I. Now if you stuck around this long, I have a little secret for you. My next video is scheduled to be containers for these cards we've made. What I want to show you is how to package the cards if you want to give the cards themselves as a gift to someone, maybe October, early November, so they can mail out Christmas cards too. So stick around for that. I think that'll be a good one. And other containers. It won't just be card containers. There'll be some other containers thrown into that video. Hey, thanks so much for being here. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button to let me know that you're enjoying these videos. And another thing, if you really like it, share it with somebody, because sharing is caring. Thanks so much, you guys. Have a great one. Until next time. Bye now.